Hello, this is Right Side Trader. Today is July 10th, 2026, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the NASDAQ 100, that's QQQ, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading, so please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's jump over to these charts and see what we see this week. And wow, yeah, I was just looking at this, and I see the Qs are still within that little range and all. But let's go ahead and just go on down to our quarterly chart and see what's going on here. And all right, quick quarterly chart. On the quarter chart, we're red. We're still red on this chart. It's still trying to push back up. You know, this market has gotten stuck, you know, here still above the yearly R1, which is a good thing, but still haven't made all-time highs and still haven't broke my number where I think we need to break. You know, it's staying in, like I said, it's standing between that 700 and 750 number and all. Hint. You know, but let's go ahead and go down to our monthly chart and see what we see here on this monthly chart. What we see here, as we can see, you know, we're still red. We're still above the 9-10 moving average. Let me bring up my pen where I can point out, make sure you see what I'm seeing and know what I'm talking about here. And so I'm talking about the candle to the most right of the chart, the two candles that we're looking at. And we're almost, you know, with this thing pushing back up the way it's pushing back up, you know, we've had to be careful about making an evening star. But we just got a doji here on this one candle here. We're still above the 9-10 moving average, which is a good thing. That means technically we are still in a bull market. You know, now on these quarterly pivots into this new quarter, we are above pivot, so I do expect us to stay pivot. We didn't come down as far as I thought we would come down, you know, but we're already pushing back up. So that's a good thing also there. And let me just zoom in just a little bit more now, and all that I didn't zoom in that much. Yep, just a little bit more. Give a nice little bigger picture. And all, like I say, just a doji here, and all, nice tail, and I'll let them know the bulls are coming back into this thing. All we need now is just for this candle right here to turn green and stuff. So let's see if that can happen and see if we can get where we start. Get back where we can just turn green. First of all, that's the first thing. So see if that can happen come next week. And but that's that. All right, let's go ahead and go down to our weekly chart and see what we see there. On this weekly chart, this is where, again, on this weekly chart, we can see at least we did finish the week green this month. Now on these monthly pivots, which are this right here, we are back above pivot, which is that white line there. We did come all the way down to a support 1 here and bounce and have been reversing here this week, which is this was a pretty interesting week of trading. It was a good week of trading actually for us intraday for this intraday trader. I don't know about the other intraday traders and stuff, but again, we still got this stuff here going on right here, and we're gonna see. We got to just kind of like still wait. We still got time on this to see how far this is going to go out before we break to one direction or the other direction, to the downside or to the upside. So we still haven't gone anywhere. We're still trading like I was saying, in between. You know, you got your 700 and you got your 750. And let me getting kind of messy there. You got 750 that it hasn't been able to break, which is our all-time high at 748.65, and then we got the low down here. Right now, since our pivot came real close to 700, that's at 698.96. You know, our 700 that we're staying below. I don't know if we actually dipped below 700 this week. Let me take a quick look at that. And I just want to, so again, what's our low? Our low was at 791. And then when I was looking at that, I'm looking at these numbers up here, and all to see how low did we go this week. So again, like I said, we're staying above 700 and we're staying below 750, a nice tight range. Well, it's not a tight range, you know, but for me, for the Qs, that is a pretty tight range we're staying within. So we got to see which way are we going to break. And some of us may be waiting to see if we actually get a close above some of those numbers or below those numbers before we actually start trying to take a directional type trade and all. And no trade recommendation, just kind of like what I'm seeing here on the chart at this time. Let's just go ahead and go down to our daily chart and wrap this on up to our daily noise. And again, this is again, like I said, this was a good week. You know, when you get this, we got this choppiness, but we can see the pattern. We can see the pattern and all. We get down here too low, it's time to go long. We get up here too high, it's time to go short. So again, this game is not that difficult if you can see the pattern. That's all I can say. So that's where we're at right now. We're actually closing. We're up near the top. So again, with this thing zigzagging the way it's zigzagging, next week it's going to be kind of interesting. Can it? Again, let me just zoom in just a little bit more. I'm gonna take out. The thing is, we got some zigzagging going on here, and all. And the thing is it going to zag back down to the downside come next week? So that's going to be kind of interesting to wait and see what's going to happen there. But it's still kind of crazy if you're looking real close at the picture of what's happening. I want to zoom in just a little bit more here, because what I want to point out here, usually I talk about patterns here, and right here we had a bullish Harami. Bullish Haramis are not some of the best patterns in all. Harami is not one of the stronger patterns. But as you can see, it ended up failing. It ended up coming down here. So again, that's why again you end up have to wait for that confirmation. But this other pattern that we got here on the intraday thing that I saw that I liked, this day was this bottoms up that we talk about all the time. This gave when we see this thing right here, and it came close to that 700 number that I've been talking about. That was kind of like a oh my God type trade for intraday type thing, and a short swing trade. Me, short swing trade is anything less than 5 days, and I don't like carrying anything over the weekend. A lot of times, if I'm using options, if I'm carrying the stock itself, it's not a bad thing, and I would just sell a call on that position if I have 100 shares or more above there. Again, no trade recommendation, just some of the stuff that I like doing, and that's pretty much it. What I see come next week, we are at the top of the range of what this thing has been doing. So again, be careful that this thing doesn't try to come back down. But I do see us to come next week. We will be opening above pivot. So there's a chance that this thing can actually maybe continue up. But it may not get above, our previous high that we had here. And again, we'll be looking for it, like, first of all, this last swing low. First of all, if we open up above, our Friday's close, which is this nut right here, then the target is going to be, can it get above this high right here that we got here on this candle here? And that's pretty much it. That's what we're going to be looking forward for. And the thing, we don't want it, again, since this thing is getting kind of tight, we don't want to come next week, get a close below this point right here. So again, that's that 700 number. So we're near the bottom. We actually midway between 700 and 750. So that's kind of like one of those things where, okay, this thing come next week, it can go either direction. You're at the midpoint, which way are you going to go? So that's what we're going to be looking out for come next week. And that's it. That's pretty much all I have to share at this time. This is Right Side Trader. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye. Subscribe, like. I'm going to do mostly a lot of this stuff now. I kind of like this. It's really helpful for me. Seeing this stuff and looking at it every day. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.